Welcome in to I Remember My First Time.
Oh, yes.
Don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
I like the sound of that.
where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that
I'm
movie.
pretty sure I'm the one that did the cherry popping this time.
How was it?
Amazing.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Yeah, absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
Oh, we love the shit out of movies. In this week's classic masterpiece, the film was listed among the 100 most enjoyably bad movies ever made in Golden Raspberries Award founders John Wilson's book, The Official Razzian Movie Guide. Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott, 1989's The Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. I may have to get you that book for Christmas or something.
I would be so down.
Jacob, I thought you'd be bigger.
BJ, well, I ain't gonna show you my dick.
You Michael Douglas now?
Yep, I am. More like Sam Elliott, because Sam Elliott started his career off as a porn star. He'd show his fucking dick.
He did?
Yes. My stepmom's dad has an old VHS tape of Sam Elliott in a porn.
I know what next week's rewatchable is going to be. Next week's podcast is going to be. I am BJ Leica, and I was born an asshole and has just been getting bigger ever since.
Joined as always by me, Jacob Bekas. And to tell you the truth, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to eat the mint in the bottom of the urinal.
Why would they make it look so tasty if you're not supposed to eat it?
That's what I'm fucking saying. And then, why would it be so tasty?
Well, we have the absolute classic masterpiece. This is definitely on the list of greatest shitty movies of all time. It is Roadhouse.
For sure.
Described by Netflix as a bouncer with a mysterious past leaves New York to bring order to a rowdy bar in Missouri, where he falls for a local doctor and gains a powerful enemy.
Okay.
Do you want to hear my pitch to Netflix to put me in charge of movie summaries? Because that's kind of terrible.
Let's hear it.
Lifelong bouncer Dalton takes a job to clean up a bar in a small town, but ends up cleaning up that small town.
That's pretty good. The working description for the pod is, it's the Swayze Man. That's all that needs to be said.
Swayze kicks the shit out of people would also be an apt description for this movie.
Yep.
Because that's basically all that happens.
Yep.
6.6 out of 10 Roadhouse is rated on IMDb.
Too low.
41% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Too low.
And 36% on Metacritic.
Too low.
All of those way too low.
Way too low. Know what you're getting into. It's the classic love guru thing for me.
God. You and the love guru.
I can't fucking help it. It's a perfect example. Like, know what you're getting into. You'll enjoy the movie more.
The love guru thesis.
TM.
36% on Metacritic. So what do you think Roger Ebert thought about this movie?
I don't know. Roger Ebert in the late 80s and early 90s kind of pisses me off sometimes. This movie is unapologetically what it is, and I would say 85% of the time Roger really fucking digs that. So I'm going to say he liked this movie.
2.5 out of 4 stars.
Okay, so that's a like, but fuck him. He should have rated it higher.
He rated it higher than most critics. Let's put it that way.
I don't care. Roger Ebert should have rated it higher because of how he is about this shit.
In this review, he says, he was on one in this review, man. The guiding spirit of Roadhouse can be glimpsed in one particular scene, which is set in the trophy room of an evil sadist who holds a helpless town in his iron grasp. His hunting trophies include not only the usual deer, elk, and antelope, but also orangutans, llamas, and a match set of tropical monkeys. This guy went hunting in the zoo.
Yes.
Roadhouse is the kind of movie that leaves reality so far behind that you have to accept it on your own terms.
Yep.
That's your love guru theory, basically.
Yep.
Was it intended to be a parody? I have no idea, but I laughed more during this movie than during any of the so-called comedies I saw this week. Which, I'll be honest with you, we just did Boomerang last week. I laughed more in this than I did Boomerang.
I did too.
Roadhouse exists right on the edge between good, bad movie and merely bad. I hesitate to recommend it because so much depends on the ironic vision of the viewer. This is not a good movie, but viewed in the right frame of mind, it is certainly not a boring one either.
He is he is 100% right.
It still should have been 3.5 stars out of 4.
I agree. At least 3.
It's at least a thumbs up.
Yeah. It got a thumbs up in the box office.
Oh yeah? How well?
So the budget was $15 million in '88, so $35 million today.
Okay, not bad. Pretty low actually.
Yeah, in '88 it made $62 million off of 15.
Woo!
So today $145 million.
Yeah.
Particular criticism in the wake of the film's box office disappointment, which I just read you the box office.
I don't know how that's a disappointment.
Was directed at United Artists for marketing the film as lighter and more comedic in order to attract female moviegoers who had just enjoyed Patrick Swayze and Dirty Dancing. However, the film's long afterlife on video and cable made it a cult classic and cemented admiration for it as a hyper-masculine camp.
It is hyper-masculine camp to the nth degree.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, you are the virgin. You just saw, which I was shocked that you had never seen this movie before, because this is right in the wheelhouse of movies your dad made you watch.
So my dad wasn't a big Swayze fan because Swayze's a pretty boy.
Okay.
I'm telling you, why watch action movies with the pretty boy when you got Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Is Jean-Claude Van Damme not a pretty boy then? I mean, I guess he's bigger than Swayze.
But he doesn't do pretty boy movies. He's a badass.
This isn't a pretty boy movie.
This isn't, but prior to this movie, that's all Swayze had done.
Okay. I was just shocked because this seemed right in that wheelhouse of your dad sitting down with 11-year-old Jacob.
Well, and my dad did show me Point Break, but Point Break had Keanu Reeves in it.
And was it Busey?
Yeah.
Or Nolte?
It was Gary Busey.
Busey in that? Yeah.
Yeah. Think fucking incredible.
Utah, give me 2. So
this movie's incredible. Nima tried to watch this movie with me, and about 25 minutes in, she was like, "Can you give me my headphones? Because I'm gonna get on my phone because I don't know what the fuck's going on."
Yeah, not sure this is a movie you want to watch with your lady.
No, but it's incredible.
You can throw it on with the boys.
Yeah.
You can have 3 or 4 friends over, a couple cases of beer, and turn on Roadhouse.
Loved how badass Swayze was. The movie was awesome. I can always use more gun action. And that's probably the only thing it was missing, but it didn't need it.
No, I like hand-to-hand combat in movies a little more. Look, I get the gun, but you get bloody in it, you get more bloody. The stakes are generally higher because it only takes one lucky shot or whatever. But
for hand-to-hand, a lot of times it's difficult to shoot. You need a good director to do good hand-to-hand stuff. So, what did you like about the movie?
I think this movie is damn near the perfect good-bad movie. It hits all the tropes for me. It's got ample boobies for absolutely no reason. Loved that.
We love boobs.
Obviously, the fight scenes are incredible.
Speaking of boobs, though, real quick, what a random spot to put the lead actress's boobs in it. Because she just had a pretty awesome sex scene with Swayze where we saw no boobs.
Mhm.
And then he's out on whatever, the patio roof, whatever, smoking a cigarette, which, by the way, Patrick Swayze can smoke a fucking cigarette.
Oh, yeah, he can. And he does it often in this movie.
Yes. Because one of your pet peeves is when actors don't smoke cigarettes right. Like,
Yes.
just don't
Yeah.
fucking do it.
Right. You don't have to do it. If you can't do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's like when they
'Cause it
try to
looks-
do an accent they
Because it
can't
looks
do, right?
fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. But she gets out of bed and we see her boobs for like 2 seconds. And I was like, what a random place to put her boobs in. She just had a sex scene.
Yeah, and I have seen this movie before, and watching it this time, they go through the sex scene, and I was like, and I know we see Kelly Lynch's boobs at some point, and I was like, oh, I guess it's not this scene. And then after the sex, they show it, and I'm like, that's odd.
Yeah, weird.
And then they bang again on top of a barn roof, which I wish I was skinny enough to have sex on the top of a barn porch roof.
Me fucking too. That'll never happen for me.
That'll ruin the mood when you fall through that son of a bitch.
Like, even when I get in shape, I weigh 250. So, not happening.
The best part about this movie is it absolutely flies by, and it comes out on fire.
It's an hour and 52-minute movie, and it doesn't feel like it.
So I started this movie later than I wanted to last night, and I saw the hour and 52 runtime, or 54, whatever, and I was like, there's no way this movie's that long. I've seen it before. It is not that long. And so I started it at, let's say, 10 o'clock, and I finished it, and I looked at my phone, and it was 11:54, and I was like, that was not an hour and 54 minutes. Time is a construct. This movie is not that long.
I officially believe we're in the Matrix.
What else did you like about it?
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
I haven't seen near enough Sam Elliott movies for as big of a Sam Elliott fan as I am, but fucking loved him.
Hadn't seen that VHS porno yet?
Not yet, but it's on the watch list.
Is there anything you didn't like about this remarkable movie?
Oh, before we leave things that I liked, my redneck comes out for very few things. Those things are, in no particular order, wrestling,
which we had people literally being chokeslammed into tables.
Yep. Booze and just partying.
Broken glass bottles.
Yep. And probably my favorite, monster trucks.
Oh, spoiler. There are monster truck scenes in this movie.
And they are fucking incredible. The first monster truck scene that pulled up. So I'm sitting here watching this movie, and I had already gone through the trivia. So I knew there were 2 actors that were in The Big Lebowski together that were in this movie.
Sam Elliott.
And I knew Sam Elliott.
Uh-huh.
I know that one. And I'm watching this movie, of course, 89. I'm born in 92. Not a lot of these people I know. And I'm just like, I have seen The Big Lebowski way too many times. It's way too much one of my all-time favorites to look this shit up. I better find out who it is. And monster truck rolled up. I'm like, it's a fucking monster truck. Hell yeah. And then I pause it right after the monster truck. And I'm like, that's Jackie Treehorn. It's Jackie fucking Treehorn. So I figured it out then too.
I legitimately laughed the first time the monster truck showed up. Like, laugh out loud. This is funny. Laugh.
Fair.
I do want to say one more thing about what I didn't like. As an example of, despite a movie being as shitty as this is, the getting the plot of the owner of the Double Deuce convincing Swayze to go with him. They're like, yeah, it's going to be a boring conversation. How do we spice this up? We have him stitch up his own arm as he's talking about this. That is a legitimate great directorial choice, especially for a movie like this.
Yes. And I'm going to jump ahead a little bit with this, but this is, because you bring it up here, this movie on a pod where we try to remember our first times. We're able to remember our first times on a couple of these scenes. This is not the first time we've seen someone sew up their own wound.
Rambo.
First Blood. First Blood. But in the movie Rambo, we also saw Stallone rip someone's throat out, like in this movie.
How have we done 2 movies where someone literally gets their throat ripped out?
I don't know, but we fucking have. And this is kind of a stretch, but this is the second movie we've done where we can use a Schwarzenegger impersonation and say, "Get to the cooler," because he's a cooler.
You just tied in Batman and Robin to Roadhouse.
I know. You're fucking welcome.
Well, that was a lot that we liked about this movie.
What do we not like about it?
Nothing. Everything works perfectly for me to become just such a kick-ass.
Yeah, the movie's incredible.
Yeah.
There's nothing I didn't like either. Moving right on. Is it a good or a bad movie?
Well, hang on. Huge nitpick here.
Okay.
Did Sam Elliott have to die?
No. And he shouldn't have died. I didn't like that part.
Swayze was already just over the top pissed. You didn't have to have Sam Elliott die to get him.
He just
more
ripped
pissed.
someone's throat out.
Yeah.
He's angry.
so anyway, I don't know if that's really and I didn't like, but I feel like I had to say something.
No, I didn't like it. Sam Elliott should have made it to the movie. Wade Barrett, the number one cooler in the U.S. For being the number one cooler.
Wait. Is former WWE superstar Wade Barrett, did he get his name after Sam Elliott in this movie, Wade Garrett?
Maybe.
I think he did.
I've
never put those two together. The big question, is this a good movie? Absolutely fucking not.
Nah. It is a good movie. For the right person.
It is a great bad movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means it's a good movie.
I call those movies good movies.
Fair enough.
So, they're right up my wheelhouse. They're right up my roadhouse.
I thought that meant something else.
Not here.
Well, is it time to get deep into this movie?
It is time to get balls deep.
This was your first time to watch it, so give me your fourth favorite scene, Jacob.
So, before we start on the scenes, I just want to go over the rules of bouncing. They are as follows. 1, never underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected. 2, take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar unless it's absolutely necessary. And 3, be nice.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
As to both of us have worked service industry, you more than I have. There's nothing funnier to me than the person that takes the service industry way too seriously. And I was cracking up at this meeting because I'm just imagining being a bartender there. And I'm like, whoa, calm down, Rambo.
Yeah. Take it easy, Dalton. So, my first scene in the Mount Rushmore scenes, and I'm just going to say it right now, Eddie Guerrero throughout this whole Mount Rushmore.
Lie, cheat, and steal.
Yep, throughout the whole fucking thing. And so my number 4 scene is basically 2 scenes, but it's our introduction to the Double Deuce, which, what a great bar name.
I do like how Sam Elliott called it the Double Douche when he showed up.
Mm-hmm. I just love the introduction and how fucking trashy and awful it was. Like, the head bouncer's like, nah, they're brothers, they're fine. Like, it's all good. All the fighting, all the time. The guy grabbing the chick's boobs, like, whoa.
I don't have $20.
Yeah, $20 to kiss them. Aren't you going to kiss them? Nah, I ain't got $20. That was fucking great.
This scene is off the rails.
Off of the rails. And then I take it into that pre-work meeting.
Yeah, the overly serious pre-work meeting.
Yeah, and then firing of the 2 people. I love how angry the bouncer was, and I love the chick selling dope. She's just like, whatever.
I feel like that bouncer wasn't like that bad of a bouncer. Is that weird?
He wasn't, but I understood what Swayze, like, you just don't got the right temperament.
Yeah.
Like, Nima was like, because she was still paying attention at this point in the movie, she's like...
Not long after this.
No, not long after this. She was like, so why did he just get kicked out? Because he hit on the girl? And I was like, yes, that is why. So that's my number 4. It's just introduction to the small problem that Swayze is going to have to handle in this movie that at first seems really big. Spoiler alert, the problem gets bigger.
Of course it does. So this was probably the hardest Rushmore I've ever done, because every scene in here is about 4 minutes long for the most part, and they're all so damn good.
Just bangers.
This is how good this movie is for me. My fourth favorite scene is when Swayze rips a guy's fucking throat out.
That's your fourth favorite?
That is my fourth favorite. That is an incredible fight.
Sorry, bro. That's way up higher on the Mount Rushmore. But keep going.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is how much I love this movie.
I can't believe this is your fourth. Whatever. Yeah. Keep going.
It's an incredible fight. It's
You're as annoying as my brother right now.
It's the bad guys, big bad fighting champion.
Yep.
When he was swinging the pool sticks, I loved that.
Yep.
I really wanted to throw that in there. Just couldn't find a way to fit it. But that one fight down by the river, and he gets his throat ripped out. And the doctor looks at it and is like, I have never seen that before.
Wow.
I saw this in a Rambo movie and did not think it was real.
So my number 3 scene is, again, another cheat.
Okay.
It's the first scene we get with Swayze working in the deuce. Call it the first cooler scene. I like referring to coffee, decaf coffee, and regular coffee as unleaded or leaded.
Leaded.
I was like, that's badass.
Yeah, Dalton's not drinking decaf coffee.
No. Just the small fight scenes, the bartender stealing, and Swayze just straight up saying, and we know how much I love foreshadowing, it'll get worse before it gets better. And it gets a lot worse.
The seedy bartender was the best.
Yeah, and I take it into the next scene. So he fires the bartender, and then the bartender shows back up with his 2 buddies.
Okay, yeah.
And I count that fight scene in it.
And has the most comically large Bowie knife I've ever seen.
Yes.
That thing makes Crocodile Dundee look like he's carrying a pocket knife.
Right. And then the big guy with the suspenders, loved every bit of that scene. And then I even take it further to when we meet the doctor. And we find out that he's a philosophy major, and we get 2 great philosophy one-liners. Pain don't hurt.
Oh, I knew you would love that quote.
And nobody ever wins a fight. When he said that, I went, so true. So true.
That was a hell of a twist finding out. I remember my first time watching it when I found out that Dalton was a philosophy major at NYU. Like not even at some shitty community college. NYU. This guy got into NYU and has a philosophy degree.
Right. And he's like, I want to be a cooler. I want to have the same name that keeps beers cold. That's a job title I want. Your number 3 scene.
My number 3 scene is Sam Elliott rolls to town.
Okay.
He comes in on just an old kick-ass motorcycle.
Yep.
Looking like a fucking snack. This just long salt and pepper hair and his 6-day beard, calling it the double douche. Looking for a little runt named Dalton. Then Dalton's getting his ass kicked. Sam Elliott shows up, starts kicking ass. And it goes through the Three's Company date scene, I call it.
Yep.
With him dancing with the doctor to All My Exes Live in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Weird song to dance to, got to admit. Not the greatest dancing song of all time.
No.
And my favorite part about this scene, when Sam Elliott almost calls that woman a cunt. I knew you'd love that, where he was like, that young lady.
This is my number 2 scene.
It's a great friendship scene.
I take it all the way through the second Sam Elliott scene in the bar, because I cheated on this one too. But, I mean, this is my opening quote. Like, you want to fight, dickless? Well, I sure ain't going to show you my dick.
Terrible move in a fight, because now your pants are down by your ankles.
Why would you do that?
Unless you're wearing the, basketball warm-ups with the little buttons on the side and you just rip them off, no one's fighting a pantsless man.
And I loved how badass Sam Elliott was in this scene, just knocking the fuck out of people. It didn't. The only thing I didn't like about this whole big scene is how much it didn't flow. Because then when
you think I care about that in this movie?
No, just in the sense that like the next time we see Sam Elliott fight, he pretty much gets his ass kicked by the bad guy's number one henchman in the bar. I'm like, he should have held his own a little bit more after beating the fuck out of 5 people.
Yeah, but that's how these movies go. We know that.
I know. That's the only thing I didn't like. You liking that Sam Elliott almost called her a cunt. I liked as much as turning his intensity up to 12 and go, you got 2 choices when someone sticks a gun in your face. Die or kill that motherfucker.
Not the first time that line has been said in a bad action movie.
I was like, whoa, that was cool.
It is the coolest it's been said in an action movie.
Yes. And what was it after that other bar scene? Sam Elliott goes, same town or different town, same story, huh, pal? Your number 2 scene.
My number 2 scene is the intro to the Double Deuce. This was your 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah, the intro to the Double Deuce, the fighting, the chicken wire band. I loved the band in this movie.
Yes.
The band was killing it. It did so much to this movie.
Yes.
Having that kind of old bluesy sound backtracking a good 60% of this movie.
Agreed.
And I do love the overly intense, this is how it's going to be, bar meeting afterwards.
Yeah.
Nema did the right thing. If you see this scene and you're like, I'm not interested in this movie, get out.
Yes. Because the rest of the movie is this.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Maybe the stone cold in me. I love the sound of broken glass.
Yeah. I thought that when we got the monster truck driving through the Ford dealership. Yeah. That was fucking cool.
Your favorite scene?
You know what it is.
The last scene?
No.
Oh, just the guy getting his throat ripped out.
Just the guy getting his throat ripped out. Because you have like...
You said you lied, you cheated, you stole. I figured you started it at the throat rip out.
Yeah.
And went all the way through the end.
I wanted to, but the finale wasn't as awesome as this scene.
Okay, all right.
This scene, I mean, you have Emmett's house exploding. And I'm just like, what the fuck? This is happening? Like, we're exploding people's houses. Like, at least with the parts store, it's like
no one
oil,
was in there.
no one was in there. Like, you could set something up and make it look like an accident. Someone's fucking house? Like, and what did this old guy ever do to Brad Weasley?
Rented Dalton a room.
What the... Speaking of Dalton's room, I want a room like that someday. Just on the top of some dude's barn, one big-ass loft with everything in it.
It was so fucking classy for a joint that's just above a barn.
$100 a month.
I miss 1989.
Me fucking too. But, so you have Emmett's house blowing up, and then the dude rolling out on the dirt bike, like, yeah, we did it. Like, we're not even trying to get away with it. I'm like, what the fuck? And Swayze just chomping. Like, normally we just get Tom Cruise that looks good running in movies, but Swayze looked great.
Kelly Lynch looks terrible running in this movie.
Horrible.
It was such a stark contrast to the Swayze run versus the Kelly Lynch run.
Mm-hmm.
And again, do you know why Swayze looks good running?
He's short.
That's right.
We have figured it out. Short people look good running on camera. Tackles him off the dirt bike. Get one of my favorite one-liners of the movie. I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I was like, whoa! Awesome!
Can I tell you what should have happened in that fight that never did?
What?
One of them should have thrown sand in the other person's eyes.
Okay.
I don't know why they didn't do that.
It would have been good. My next note is Dalton goes the fuck off and then rips his motherfucking throat out. Fucking incredible. And then, you know, she runs up and she's freaked out because this dude has his throat ripped out, and Swayze just takes this guy out into the pond, and fucking awesome.
So my favorite scene is actually the last scene.
Of course it is. A polar bear falls on somebody.
It's such a cathartic end to this movie. And, there was essentially no gun violence in this movie until they shoot the bad guy 4 times, 4 separate people with 4 separate shotguns.
Loved it.
And he's just still moving and still trying to do something.
The best part is everyone's like, I didn't see nothing.
The last line of dialogue in this movie is after everybody says, I don't see nothing, they turn to the big fat bald guy's henchman and he goes, a polar bear fell on me.
Is that really the last line of dialogue?
There's no dialogue after that. It's just the blues guy playing music and,
everyone having a good time.
Yeah. That's the last line of dialogue in this movie.
Duck.
That's incredible. Polar bear fell on me.
That's incredible. You can't go out on a stronger note.
No.
I should have cheated and put those 2 scenes together.
So yeah, this was a really hard Rushmore. I don't really want to go through because we can talk about every scene in here. The guy with the knife boot.
Oh yeah, I have that written on here. Knife boot. Yeah.
But I do want to know
Sam Elliott scene in the strip club.
Great.
Take it easy, Rambo.
I know you want to get rid of the commies, but you're gonna have to do it from back here.
Yep.
What in this movie made you laugh more than it should have? Because the first time I saw the monster truck and the monster truck going through the Ford dealership, hilarious to me.
Probably same for me too. That and the NYU in philosophy. Or the bachelor's in philosophy from NYU.
And I already brought it up, but Sam Elliott almost saying the C word. But man, this movie's quite funny.
This movie's incredible. How did I make it to 30 and I've never seen this movie?
That's the one thing I was a little worried about what a 30-year-old would think seeing this movie for the first time.
Incredible.
But I guess in terms of you loved it.
Incredible.
Anything else about scenes before we move on?
I don't think so.
Well, let's move on to our overarching discussion where I've mentioned that this is one of my favorite awesomely terrible movies.
We have a treat for our listeners, don't we?
Double Rushmore.
Double Rushmore.
We are doing our favorite awesomely horrible movies.
Yeah.
Now, we discussed this a little bit before, so if your favorites aren't on here, there was a couple that we said were a little too good to be terrible.
Those examples are Fast 5 and Fast and the Furious movies.
The original Top Gun.
Uh-huh.
Point Break.
Yep. Those movies like that are just a little too good to be on this.
We're not saying they're great movies.
No.
They're just a little too good to be terrible.
Yes.
So your favorite awesomely shitty movie may fall in that category for us. But Jacob, what is your 4th favorite awesomely shitty movie of all time?
I was having trouble coming up with my 4th when you brought this idea up to me. And after I figured it out, it's an easy pick. It should have been my birthday episode. I should have made you watch this instead of Troll Hunter. It is Clive Owen and Paul Giamatti in the outrageously awesome movie Shoot 'Em Up.
Is that where he rappels down a stairwell with 2 guns and is just firing on, 80 guys?
Yes.
I think he kills someone with a carrot in that movie.
Multiple times. He eats carrots and it improves his vision. And he makes Bugs Bunny quotes and Paul Giamatti makes Elmer Fudd quotes. It's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. I should have had you watch that movie. I've seen it more times than I care to admit. I'm lying over 10.
You care to admit?
I do. I want people to know how many times I've seen it. And I think that's on the low end. And however many times I've seen it is not enough.
Jeez. Well,
awesomely shitty movies are some of my favorite things in the world.
That's kind of the the basis of this podcast.
Yes.
My fourth, we mentioned this guy earlier, JCVD.
Okay.
The Van Damme man himself in the classic Bloodsport. Kumite. 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 I mean, what an awesomely shitty movie that is.
Love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There's no plot.
I wanted to pick one of his movies, but I could not pick Shoot 'Em Up.
The plot is there's a big fight battle thing. I don't know. Who cares? It's incredible. Of course, Van Damme does the splits. You get to see Van Damme's naked ass just like you saw Dalton's in this one. And those two side by side would be a very close whose ass is better. But Bloodsport is awesome if you haven't seen it.
Incredible movie. My number 3 all-time shitty movie is Jason Statham's Crank.
Yeah, Crank's a good one.
Crank's incredible.
And do you know what? Crank 2, even better.
So awesome. Both movies might as well count as one.
It's like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
Yep.
Crank 1 and 2.
Yep. 100%. Fucking love those movies. Jason Statham's incredible.
The greatest plot of a shitty movie of all time.
Yeah.
The perfect shitty movie plot.
Agreed.
It's Speed, but his heart rate can't go below 90 beats a minute. Whatever it is, I don't know. Who cares?
Love it. All right, you're number 3.
We know I love a montage. So I'm going to go with the movie that's 40% montage, Rocky 4.
I had a hard time keeping that off my Mount Rushmore.
The Rockies are on Netflix.
I will break you.
Just so much the sole fact this is on my list is that there's so much montage in it.
Yes.
I don't care about anything else. It's just montage after montage after montage.
Spoiler alert, it's fucking incredible.
Number 2, Jacob?
We know that I might be the biggest Nick Cage fan in the world.
Yes.
Con Air, baby. Con fucking Air.
Speaking of awesome plots for shitty movies.
Yeah. Throw a bunch of the world's most dangerous people on a flying prison.
And also, let's get some incredible actors here.
Yeah.
Buscemi, you're in. Michael Clark Duncan, you're in.
John Malkovich, you're in.
Trejo, get down here. Cusack, come on. Dave Chappelle, bring it on.
And last but not least, Nick fucking Cage.
You're an Army Ranger, so your hands are registered as deadly weapons. Shut the fuck up.
They were going to rape my pregnant wife. Fuck y'all.
So, Roadhouse is actually my second favorite, but we've already we're doing a Roadhouse podcast. So, in its place, I'm going to do my first honorable mention. Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler, Armageddon.
Oh my God. I've tried to put that movie on this podcast for a while. It's just... it hadn't been the right time because it's such an incredible movie. That's like a New Year's, 4th of July, like big movie.
Yeah, that might have to be on a special 100th episode or something.
Something like that. Because it's one of those movies. It's Michael Bay at his best. Ben Affleck, when he was still shitty, at his shittiest best. Owen Wilson. Steve Buscemi.
Again, Steve Buscemi. Michael Clark Duncan again.
Michael Clark Duncan. Speaking of stories, just why don't we just teach astronauts how to drill? Why are we teaching drillers how to be astronauts?
Who cares?
I think I know the reason. Are you ready? Because I thought about this when doing these Mount Rushmores. It's because it's easier to replace drillers than it is astronauts. And if they all die doing this mission, at least we still have 20 astronauts. I'm surprised that we didn't share a movie on this Mount Rushmore.
We still have one left. And we might have the same one because, in my opinion, this is the consensus best shitty movie of all time. And your boy Nick Cage is in it.
I was about to say, me being a big Nick Cage fan, I do have 2 Nick Cage movies on my Mount Rushmore of shit movies.
Is John Travolta the
Fuck other? Yes, he's in it. It's Face Off.
I'm going to take his face off.
Incredible movie.
That's the consensus best shitty movie of all time, right?
Yes.
Like, people may be like, oh, it's not my favorite, but like consensus.
Everyone do yourselves a favor and look up honest trailers and watch Face Off. If you like double gun wielding, John Woo has something for you.
I am Castor Troy!
You're Castor Troy. I'm Castor Troy. I'm Castor Troy!
Okay, so...
What an incredible Mount Rushmore.
So we did agree on one, and I think that's the right one. That's the Trevor Lawrence of the shitty movie draft.
There we go. What's on the docket next? Character breakdown. Got to start with the Swayze Man.
Did they ever say Dalton's last name in this movie?
Dalton is his last name.
Okay. Did they ever say his first name?
I don't think so.
I will say...
It's in the trivia. I don't know where it's at, but it's in the trivia.
Big time Jack Reacher vibes from this movie.
Yeah.
And his last name being Dalton and the Reacher thing just make that even more. Swayze could not have been better.
Yeah, Swayze was amazing.
This role's not better with any of the other 80s action stars in it, is it?
No. It had to be Swayze.
Yeah, it's not the same with Schwarzenegger or Stallone or even Bruce Willis. It's not the same movie.
And just before we leave the Swayze Man, anytime a character's name is Dalton, my best friend died when I was 20. His name was Dalton. Shout out to my bro.
Another reason, how have you not seen this movie?
I know. But fucking it. Patrick Swayze is incredible. Just exudes badassness in this movie.
Exudes everything. He's the perfect human being in this movie.
Correct. Kelly Lynch. Doc. I love that he just calls her Doc.
Of course he does. He's a cooler who's got a philosophy degree from NYU.
Fair enough.
I mean, I thought she was good, but I also think that she's basically just a plot device.
It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
So.
But she's definitely not bad in it.
No, not at all.
And definitely was the idea of what 1989 thought was hot.
Yeah. Like Kelly Turner.
Skinny, driving a Jeep, is a doctor, blonde. Yeah. That's what 89 thought was.
Yeah, the 80s, really.
Much better ass than Kathleen Turner had in Body Heat, though.
Agreed. Jackie Treehorn.
The bad guy?
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name was. What was it?
It doesn't matter. Jackie Treehorn. It was Brad Weasley.
Wesley.
However you say his last name.
Because I kept running to call him Ron Weasley.
Okay. I love that. You haven't even seen Harry Potter.
No.
You just know a character's named Ron Weasley in it.
I love when they're like, he's a shitty guy. In what way? Just every way.
Yeah. Literally just a shitty guy. And he was.
He's not trying to take over the world. He's not putting the fate of humanity in his hands. He's just a shitty person.
Yep.
Who, like Roger Ebert says, apparently hunts at the zoo.
I mean, that has to be where he hunts, right? Because at least in Ace Ventura, when nature calls, his trophy room is in Africa. Whatever country they're in Ace Ventura when nature calls. Like, at least it makes sense there.
How serious he took this role made this movie that much better.
How serious everyone in this movie took their roles, not just him.
It makes it so much better.
Everybody was going for an Oscar. They were. Every single person. They were in it to win it, baby.
Just, I love characters being that serious in clearly shitty movies.
Yes. Do we need to say anything more about Sam Elliott?
He's the man.
Enough said.
Any other characters you want to talk about? Red or Emmett or anything?
Nah. They were good. Just, we don't need to talk about them.
They were all just plot devices to watch Dalton kick the shit out of people.
Correct.
And rip one guy's throat.
Rip one guy's motherfucking throat out. So cool. BJ, how many trivia facts do you think IMDb had for Roadhouse?
Oh, man. 100?
240.
Holy shit.
240, my friend.
There was only 73 reviews for this movie.
No, that's not true.
You sure?
Yeah. I looked it up. I'm curious now. We're going to look it up again.
Wow. I love the picture that's on the top of IMDb for this movie. Just shirtless Tai Chi. Swayze.
Love it. 344.
Oh, okay.
But still, only 104 more than trivia.
Yeah.
Like, fuck me. But anyways, let's get started. Contrary to popular belief, Dalton doesn't constantly break his own second rule. Some people believe the rule is never fight inside, but the rule is take it outside. Never start anything inside unless in the bar unless absolutely necessary. Although there are plenty of indoor fights, none of them are started by Dalton, who only responds in defense of himself or others. For example, when he signals his security staff to fight Weasley's head of security, who takes to the dance floor alone, spinning the pool cue menacingly. In fact, in the beginning, he manages to avoid an indoor fight by luring two aggressive patrons outside and then leaves them hanging. And despite the fact that one of the thugs wounds him, he doesn't seek revenge. Rule 3, be nice.
He's a philosophical guy.
That's what it comes down to. The different fighting styles used in the movie include basic street scuffing, boxing, kickboxing, karate, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, hapkido, judo, and tai chi.
All of them.
All of them. The film's original tagline referenced Swayze's success in Dirty Dancing. The dancing's over. Now it gets dirty.
That's so good.
They
so good.
They should have ran with that.
That's so good.
Dalton was a cooler, which, if in case people don't know, is a more specialized form of bouncer. Yep.
Titles.
According to Kelly Lynch, whenever Bill Murray sees her sex scene with Patrick Swayze on television, he calls her husband Mitch Glazer to tease him about it.
Murray's the best.
Sharing the name Dalton, last name as Patrick Swayze's character in this film, is former Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton, whose nickname because of this movie became Roadhouse.
I've never heard of him referred to as Roadhouse.
Doesn't matter. That's fucking cool.
I will from now on.
Right. It was announced in September 2015 that this film is to be remade starring Ronda Rousey, but after her November fight loss to Holly Holm, all movie plans are scrapped. Fucking loser. That's the only reason I put it in there, so I could call her a loser.
She's doing fine in WWE or whatever.
Yeah, and people lose sometimes. It shouldn't have stopped this movie from being made.
No.
The monster truck that drives through the Ford dealership is Bigfoot 7, driven by former vice president of Bigfoot 4x4, Jim Kramer. It cost $500,000 and was done in one take. Bigfoot had to be repainted after the scene and went on to crush cars throughout the country and the world.
I was more of a gravedigger guy myself.
Me too. First of two Roadhouse movies, the sequel Roadhouse 2 Last Call was made for DVD. The part of Nate Turner in the follow-up was originally supposed to be James Dalton. His first name's James. Patrick Swayze's character from this movie, but Swayze backed out due to creative differences and the character was changed. None of the original cast reprised their roles in the sequel. In the sequel, the character of Dalton is said to have died, shot dead before the follow-up films take place. The sequel features just a handful of references to Dalton, but the central character is Dalton's son as an adult.
Yes.
Straight to DVD, baby. When Kelly Lynch goes to Dalton's bedroom, the classic song "These Arms Are Mine" by Otis Redding plays on the radio. The song is featured in the love scene of both this movie and Dirty Dancing. Dalton makes impressive money as a cooler. For his maximum earning potential at $500 per night with 365 days, he would make $182,500, along with his $5,000 upfront fee. In 2022, that would equal $450,000.
Yeah, you're not doing it every day.
Plus, Dalton gets free medical expenses.
Just give him insurance. Oh, because there's no way an insurance company's taking him on, right?
Absolutely not. No. Red West, once a member of Elvis Presley's Memphis Mafia, played characters named Red in this movie, almost made in 2004. The A-Team in Season 4, Episode 17, Waiting for Insane Wayne, and Walking Tall Part 2.
He's that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen him in stuff, but I have no idea what that stuff is.
The next bit of trivia, I love when directors do stupid shit like this. Rowdy Harrington wanted to show Dalton still had to do regular things like laundry. Like, you don't really need that for movies, but I like when they do it sometimes. Like, Tarantino did it with Travolta because you shit a lot when you're on heroin, and Travolta had to shit a lot in Pulp Fiction. I love that.
That is a nice little unnecessary thing that maniac type A directors do.
Yeah. It's a toss-up who used more hairspray in the movie, Patrick Swayze or Kelly Lynch. Swayze joked that hair turned into the bane of my existence.
It's awesome, though.
It is.
From two bald guys, that's great hair.
Great hair. The town in which the film is set is a fictional community outside of Kansas City called Jasper, and as Dalton drives into town, the Welcome to Jasper sign is visible. There actually is a Jasper, Missouri, south of Kansas City, and it has numerous rivers running near it, as seen throughout the movie. The movie also alludes to calling a friend in the FBI in Springfield. Springfield, Missouri is 65 miles away from Jasper. So,
the problem with the town named Jasper is what happened in Jasper, Texas. Is hard to get that out of my head when I see that town name.
Fair. The car that Dalton bought at the used car lot was a 1965 Buick Rivera, the only year that Buick used the clamshell headlight covers for the Rivera. The other car that he drives near the beginning of the movie before picking up his Mercedes-Benz and leaving for Missouri was a 1964 Buick Rivera.
Did you like the club owner changing for good fuck to for good Buick?
Yeah, I love that. Marshall Togg told a story that he took his mother to the premiere of the movie when the fight against Dalton happens, and he says the line, "I used to fuck guys like you in prison." His mother jumped up and proudly shouted, "That's my boy."
That's a supportive mother right there.
Yeah, sometimes parents can be awesome. Many of the characters' names are taken from infamous or famous Wild West personalities. Wade Garrett shares his surname with Pat Garrett, the sheriff who shot and killed Billy the Kid. Brad Wesley, the main villain in the film, has the same last name as the middle name of John Wesley Hardin, one of the most notorious and cold-blooded killers in the history of the West. He once fired through a wall into the next room of a hotel where he was sleeping and killed a man whose snoring was bothering him. Kelly Lynch's character was named Doc, a nickname shared with gunfighter John Henry Doc Holliday. The character who owns the bar where Dalton rents a room, Emmett, has the first name of Emmett Dalton, leader of the notorious bandit ring, the Dalton Gang. The Double Deuce bar owner, Tillman, is named after lawman Bill Tillman of Dodge City and Oklahoma fame. Finally, there is a character named Younger, which was the last name of Cole Younger, another notorious Western bandit and killer.
And it does have that Western element of mysterious hero rides to town to save the day.
Yep. Sam Elliott claimed that this is for what he's recognized the most. Ironically, he almost turned it down because he thought it was too similar to his role in Mask in 1985.
That's a great question of what is Sam Elliott best known for?
Yeah.
Other than his mustache.
Yeah. According to Sam Elliott, all the actors did their own stunts. They were all trained by Benny the Jet Urquidez, a holder of 9 black belts in 9 different disciplines. Urquidez believed so much in Patrick Swayze's abilities that he suggested Swayze become a competitive kickboxer.
Don't do it, Swayze.
Injuries that Patrick Swayze had sustained were 2 gunshot wounds, or his character told him.
Yeah.
2 gunshot wounds, 4 stainless steel screws, 9 knife wounds, and 31 broken bones.
That's just what was reported.
Yeah. This is Patrick Swayze trivia. Swayze once commented that during production he was not sure he would live through the making of this movie.
It was so physically demanding?
Well, he got his ass kicked too. Patrick Swayze was, already said that by Benny Ucredes. Marshall Artag, Jimmy, initially didn't get along with Patrick Swayze, but while filming their big fight, both men quickly realized they shared a dedication to realistic stunts, which improved their relationship. They developed so much mutual trust that they improvised a lot and allowed each other to throw real punches and kicks. When Jimmy swings a log at Dalton, Tag mistakenly thought it was a breakable prop log. By the end, Swayze was covered in bruises and had 2 broken ribs and a busted knee.
Damn.
Like he said, he didn't know if he'd live through the movie. After the 5-day-long shoot fighting with Marshall Artaug, Swayze needed 2.5 ounces of fluid drained from his left knee. He apparently had been suffering through knee problems before needing a similar procedure during production of Dirty Dancing. 2.5 ounces of fluid out of your knee.
That's a lot.
Yes. Patrick Swayze considered Roadhouse to be a modern-day Western, with Dalton being the gunfighter for hire and Brad Weasley being the local bully.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Swayze's fame caused problems during filming. A pickup truck containing a group of middle-aged blonde women attempted to drive right up to the star's trailer to meet the actor. During the big fight by the river, a raft of Swayze-loving ladies sailed by. A female extra playing a waitress was too busy staring at Swayze to watch where she was going and tripped, spilling all of her drinks on another extra.
That's how good looking Swayze is.
Yeah, he had to have bodyguards during filming because female fans would mob him. Due to a knee injury he sustained during filming, Swayze turned down the roles of Gabriel Cash in Tango and Cash and Mike Harrington in Predator 2. He chose to make Ghost as his follow-up instead, as it was less physically strenuous role. The knee injury ended up being a blessing in disguise, as Ghost ended up being a big hit and received critical acclaim, while Tango and Cash was a box office flop.
Tango and Cash is awesome.
100% it is.
And I'm glad they went with the cast they had.
Yep.
And Ghost is something.
The only reason I know the movie Ghost exists is because of Vin Diesel's family-friendly movie, The Pacifier.
That's how you know it exists?
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg won an Oscar for that movie.
I know it from The Pacifier. Which I've seen 4 times. Continuing, Patrick Swayze wrote one song, Cliff's Edge, and sang for 2 of the movie's soundtrack. That one and Raising Heaven in Hell Tonight. Are you still blown away that I've seen Pacifier 4 times?
Yeah, I've never once looked at Pacifier and been like, I need to watch this movie.
Well, you have kids, you should watch it. Patrick Swayze claimed that the film changed the concept of club security across the planet. Rowdy Harrington says that an appeal of the movie, it goes into a world people hadn't seen. On Family Guy, Season 8, Episode 4, Brian's got a brand new bag. Peter buys the Roadhouse DVD at a going out of business sale at Quahog Video. After watching the film, Peter comically decides that all his life problems can be solved by kicking. After kicking his target, he would say the film's title as a catchphrase. The episode was dedicated to Patrick Swayze, who had died of pancreatic cancer several weeks before the episode aired.
I might have to go watch that episode.
Season 8, Episode 4.
He just kicked something and just said Roadhouse.
The film was a severe disappointment for Patrick Swayze, as he was hoping to have another major hit like Dirty Dancing.
Movies must have been making huge money back then.
For this not to be considered a hit. Yeah. The last bit of trivia are 3 bits. One is for me and the other 2 are for you.
Fair.
I call it BJ trivia.
Fair.
The band playing at the start of the movie is Cruzados. After the band disbanded, the lead singer Tito Lavera formed the band Tito and Tarantula, which is the band that played at the Titty Twister and From Dusk Till Dawn.
That's where I know that guy from.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
An you're going to laugh out loud at this. An off-Broadway production of this film was produced in 2003. It had the particularly excessively long title of, quote, Roadhouse, the stage version of the cinema classic that starred Patrick Swayze, except this one stars Temmek from the 80s cult classic The Last Dragon, wearing a blonde mullet wig.
Take my money now. Bring it back. I love the comically long title. Just definitely sounds like something I would come up with.
You mean say it again for you?
Yeah.
Roadhouse, the stage version of the cinema classic that starred Patrick Swayze, except this one stars Tamek from the 80s cult classic The Last Dragon, wearing a blonde mullet wig.
Man, I thought I was going long when I referred to The Wire as critically acclaimed HBO's The Wire. I had nothing on this.
And this one is for you because you are a self-proclaimed knife maker.
Mm-hmm.
The film's knife maker, Jack Crane, made blades for Predator, Die Hard, and Demolition Man. All 4 movies were produced by Joe Silver.
He owes Joseph Silver a comically large Bowie knife. Joel Silver. That like comically large Bowie knife like was in this movie.
Yes. That's my trivia.
Wow.
Good trivia.
Good trivia.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like it was a lot. I mean, 240 is a lot, but I had fun reading it. So.
Impersonation time. We've given a little taste of it.
What are we doing?
Full Sam Elliott.
I'm not getting naked.
All right. I will go first. You know why I was able to beat up 7 guys at one time? Because I drink Coors, the banquet beer. You want to know how to grow a mustache so thick and voluptuous that women just can't stop from falling their pussies right on your stash? You drink Coors, the banquet beer. You want to know why I kicked the shit out of that dude that played Hyde from that 70s show when I was on a show with him? Coors, the banquet beer.
Are you talking about the Netflix original, The Ranch?
Yeah. Danny Masterson is in court right now for doing something really bad.
Oh, that wasn't on The Ranch? Oh man, that was a good one.
It's actually it should be an easy impersonation, but it's not.
Howdy. My name's Sam Elliott. And if there's one thing I like more than anything else, it's the king of beers, Budweiser. I drink one of them and I'm ready to fuck all night or fight all day. Maybe a combination of both. With a name like Wade Barrett or Sam Elliott, ain't no way I ain't got a hog attached to my big old body. So hop on this mustache so you can slide down and sit on my hog as I drink a bud. That was harder than I thought it was going to be.
It's very distinct.
Yeah. And there's no way either one of us were deep enough. That's what she said.
All right. So that's out of the way.
Final thoughts on the movie in general. Fucking-credible.
It's one of the best bad movies of all time. So I gotta give this absolutely terrible movie a 9.2 because despite being terrible, it is great.
I give it an 8.4.
Okay.
For the same reasons. It's incredible. I don't even know what they could do to make it better.
It's so perfectly bad.
Yes.
I think if a third of the hand-to-hand combat fights were gunfights, I think this is about a 9.5 for you.
Maybe. Probably a 9.4, so I don't got to give it an even 10 if someone tells me to round up.
True, because you can't say this movie's a 10.
No. I mean, you can. I rated Jay and Silent Bob a 10.
You can also say this movie's a 5.
Sure.
And you're not that wrong.
And the answer to the question, should they remake this, is yes.
Can they make it this perfectly bad again?
No. You can't make bad movies like this anymore. Not like this.
Should people watch it?
Yes. Depending on who you are.
If you like awesome, shitty movies, this is a must-watch.
I mean, it's on your Mount Rushmore.
And it's not on yours, but I'm assuming it's close.
I mean, it's in the conversation.
Top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready, BJ? Because you know this has some bangers for IMDb user reviews.
Mm-hmm.
From Rowway 31, 10 out of 10, titled Your Manhood. To all you young whippersnappers out there, you cannot be considered a man until you've watched Roadhouse.
You were not considered a man until last night.
Thank God I'm here. Another 10 out of 10, titled This Movie Sucks. I give it 10 stars.
Hell yeah!
By Marks Mavelis 23. This has to be one of the worst movies ever made. Why do I watch it every single time it's on TNT or TBS? I have no idea. This movie sucks. I give it 10 stars.
This guy's welcome on the podcast. That's a banger of a review.
This is one of the best reviews I've ever read in my life, and I'm not quite sure what he's trying to say.
Give it to me.
It's by Will DeBeats 5. Titled All My Exes Live in Texas. Hurts, don't it? Well, you're a lucky dude. Stomp to the knee. Not so bad as some mean hombre blindsided in your face pretty good with a bottle of Jack Daniels, while a 200-pound gator farmer does a Mexican hat dance on your balls, or when one hell of a woman just decides she's had enough of your charms and ties him to the front end of Bigfoot before driving over a bottle bank, or when a guy you love, like a son, turns his back on you, tears of rage running down his face, collar and haircut. You don't know pain. I live it. Eat it up. No thanks. I'm not hungry right now, fella. Sure am thirsty, though. Let's go somewhere I can get a beer.
Did he just combine all Sam Elliott dialogue into one review?
I don't know.
I love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Will DeBeats is welcome.
Oh, like Wildebeest.
Yes.
Great name, too. Took me a while to get it. Okay.
You're welcome on the pod anytime. I love the review.
Loved it.
Now I'm a bad ones. By Willow Brooksies 24. 2 out of 10. It's worth the hangover. I used to go over to my friends' homes who had cable in the 80s, and this movie was always on. It's why I've never been able to bite the bullet and cough up $50 a month for terrible programming, compared to $20 a month for Netflix. At any rate, I love hating this movie. It has everything that Schwarzenegger risks his bad movies would have in terms of throwaway lines. I hesitate to put it on my worst list because it's so fun to watch.
That was a 2 out of 10?
Yes.
I love it. He's like, 2 out of 10. This movie's terrible. I love it.
And another movie that I'm not quite sure about, too, but great review, by Candle Dude 2003-17, titled Redneck Movie.
Yeah.
If you enjoy monster truck rallies, think pro wrestling is real, have an IQ under 70, or think you are Bruce Lee, you may enjoy this movie.
I don't know what the best of those are.
I don't either.
But by the way, we have a new theory that one of the funniest things to us is claiming that your IQ is 80.
Yes. Because then nobody expects anything from you. Ever. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Swayze is the best cooler in the business, who also is a philosophy major and is hired to be a bouncer at a bar with more fighting than drinking. Sam Elliott, an actor who I normally like and for some reason is in this swill, is his mentor bouncer friend. Very typically, local evil businessman sends a bunch of thugs and henchmen to beat him up so he can buy the place. Lynch is in the movie for window dressing, and Hot Babe falls for the tough guy role. Very predictable, mindless violence action movie that is very bad.
I fail to see the problem with any of that.
Me too. All of that is exactly what I want. So that must mean I enjoy monster truck rallies, think pro wrestling is real, have an IQ under 70, and I think I'm Bruce Lee. So
you are not Bruce Lee.
I am not.
Yep. Visit your local Double Deuce. Follow us on social media at IRMFT Pod.
That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit.
And next week, do we know?
Nope.
Well, either way.
It's going to be a fucking blast.
We hope you enjoyed this trip to the Double Deuce. Till next time. I'm BJ.
I'm Jacob.
Bye.